Welcome to More Than a Few Words, a marketing conversation for business owners. This is your host, Lorraine Ball, and today we're going to talk about authenticity. We're going to talk about why that is so important in all of your content and really all of your branding. And I could not think of a better person to have this conversation with than Sasha Willis. She is the boss lady behind Sasha. Oh, she is the boss lady behind By Sasha. She's the host of the Strategy for Creatives, Business Minus the Bullshit podcast, as well as the Swirl and Sip podcast. Oh my goodness, she's also the co-owner of the Boundless Audio Podcast Network and owner of Art of the Balance Design and Interior Design Studio. I'm sure she sleeps occasionally. I'm just not sure when. But through all of that, Sasha has an authentic brand, and she's going to share some tips today on how you can have one too. Sasha, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I'm so excited. I'm guessing you don't really ever sleep.
I actually get like 8 hours of sleep pretty much every day. I'm really good at my time management. So,
Okay, well, then that's amazing. Well, what I really want to talk about is through all of that, you let your personality shine through. It's really when I dial into any of those podcasts or check out your website, what I see is who you are.
yes.
How do you manage that across all of those platforms? And then how would you recommend that other people go about doing that?
So, I am a very big believer in showing up as yourself because people really tune into that.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when it comes to business, people want to feel like they know who they are working with and who they're paying their money to. And it's harder to keep up a facade if you are not being authentically yourself. People really will see through it pretty quickly. And so I just feel that it's easier to manage if I just show up as myself. It's easier to market if I'm talking from an authentic voice that's myself. And then I don't have to try to put myself into boxes and doing like the latest trends or trying to come up with things that don't really fit my personality. If it's not me, if I'm just showing up as myself, then that makes it easier to run all of my businesses and be consistent in all of that because I'm not playing a part.
Mm-hmm.
It's truly just me and letting people see my authentic self and a version of myself that they can feel like they get to know and therefore that they like and will hopefully buy things from.
Okay, the last thing is very important, that whole buying things from.
Yes.
So, one of the things, and it took me a long time to kind of get to this place. I came out of corporate and I had this perception that I needed to be a more professional version of myself. How do you help people find that balance, or how should somebody find the balance between being professional and still being who they are?
I think professionalism is something that is just in how we treat people. So it's respect and treating people with respect, acting with respect in terms of how we handle things. So I don't necessarily correlate it to how we appear or how we act or anything like that. You can act a certain way, look a certain way, and still be professional. I don't think they have anything really to do with each other. I think that as if you are showing up as yourself and still offering respect to people and still coming off as knowledgeable and you are still giving value to people in your business and you're still showing them your expertise and things like that, then you will be deemed professional while still being able to be you. It doesn't looking a certain way, acting yourself, being yourself, talking a certain way. It doesn't really correlate with professionalism. It's about what you know and if you are able to display the things that you know and if you're treating people with respect.
Cool. It's so funny to hear you say that because I agree with you. But I had a boss, and this goes back a very, very long time when we still used to dress up for work, and we had casual Fridays, and in the summer we were casual. And September rolled around, and we wanted to stay casual. And his attitude was we wouldn't treat each other as respectfully or as professionally dressed in jeans. And I thought, dude, you You know what? That tie
Yeah,
that you're wearing around your neck is cutting off the oxygen to your
we're
brain.
all adults. Like it has nothing to do with that. And I have a day job as well. And I've had pink hair, I've had purple hair, I've had green and blue hair, and it didn't negate me knowing my job at all. Like people would say, "Oh, your hair looks different today," and they would then ask me whatever question they needed an answer for. So
No, I absolutely, and it is a really refreshing mark of how things have changed over time as people have
yes.
gotten more comfortable with that. But okay, so I'm starting a business and I want to kind of build a brand that is authentic. What should I keep in mind as I'm kind of starting out with this?
So I actually call it like no trust factor, and authenticity kind of goes into that. You want people to like you, you want people to feel like they know you and then that they trust you, because that's ultimately how you turn followers or people coming to your website into people who are going to buy from you. And the one thing that you want to do is make sure that you are doing things within your comfort zone. And so especially when it comes to things like social media, if you are not a dancer, if you don't want to point at things, don't start doing that and feel like you have to do those things because that's what you see other people doing. I show up on my social media. It's literally where I'm sitting now in my office. I'm talking and I make my reels that way. And that's how I am. I don't like to do those things. So that's how I show up. And your audience will resonate with that
Hmm.
when you show up as who you are because they can see themselves in that. Not everyone likes to do uh, the highly produced things on social media or their websites and everything like that. So if you are just showing up in ways that make it easy for you to show up and don't overcomplicate how you can show up, then you're more likely to continue showing up. You're more likely to be more confident and comfortable in what you're presenting, which will help build that like no trust factor because you're not feeling like you're playing a part. You're just being yourself.
Absolutely. And, I think the other part of it is getting comfortable with the idea that some people are going to see that and they're just going to get it, and other
Yes.
people aren't. And that's okay
Yes.
because, eh, eh, you know, sooner or later, those people are going to come face to face with you or one on one with you. And you have to deliver who you presented in those reels or videos.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than meeting someone and having an idea of how they are and being excited about meeting this person and how they are, how you think they are, and then they are nothing like that because it's just a persona. It's just something that they're doing for likes or to gain more followers and things like that. And so I'm very clear. The way that you see me, how I sound, how I show up, that's who you're gonna get. And if you are coming to me at that point, then you're more likely to want to work with me because you feel a connection to how I am and how my personality is. And I know I'm not for everyone. And like you said, that's okay. Like it's okay for you not to be for everyone.
So I think as you're establishing this brand, and there's always a lot of emphasis on establishing the brand on social media, but your brand is more than who you are on Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram. So how do you take that brand and make it a more well-rounded thing that exists in the real world and everywhere that somebody interacts with your brand?
I think it's about being consistent. So, one thing that I do on my website, for example, I have a page on my website that talks about my values
Hmm.
and the things that I believe in. And I say very upfront because, again, authenticity. If you don't believe these things, that's fine. I'm not asking anyone to believe what I believe. But just know that if you work with me, this is who I am and what I believe in, and I want you to feel comfortable with that. And I make sure that I'm showing up like that in every area of my life. I showcase my family because they're important to me. I have Harry Potter tattoos because I love Harry Potters, and I show off my Legos and things like that. And it's about showing off all of that, but maintaining it across all channels because again, I want people to feel like they know who I am,
Hmm.
um, in wherever they meet me, whether they meet me on social media or whether they're coming from my website or whether they meet me in person, if they're going to any of those places, it's all a consistent experience. It's all the same person that they're getting. And so that's how I kind of take it off of social media and influence it everywhere else.
Awesome. Sasha, this has been absolutely fabulous. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
I'm going to encourage any of you that are listening, if you're intrigued and you want to learn more, I would start at by-sasha.com. From there, you can find links to her blog, to her podcast, to everything that she does. Thanks again, Sasha.
Thank you.
If you've enjoyed today's conversation, if you'd like to find other resources for building your brand or building your business, be sure to drop by digitaltoolbox.club. Look for MTFW wherever you listen to podcasts. Be sure to be sure to subscribe so you never miss another episode. This has been another episode of More Than a Few Words. Thanks for listening.